Okay, really, I'm thinking the best way to really explain the layer properties and the fractal properties panels is to actually work with the actual fractal itself. Okay, um, what I've done is I've gone ahead, I've opened up the comments tab here. Here is an area you can actually change the authorship information. You know, if it's basically you're using somebody else's parameters, it'll come in. For example, if it's something Damien Jones created, or it may have DMJ date, you know, sometime 2004 or whenever it was. As you open it, your name will be added and the actual date, creation date, or the date modification date in this case. You can also below here add in comments like usership. If you want to basically share parameters, you can basically specify whether it's, you know, these are for personal use only. People can, you know, free use to use publicly. However, you know, really, they're your comments. Put whatever you want. It's a sunny day in Ohio. Put that in there if you want to. What will actually happen there is, as I said, if you copy params, as I've showed you in the earlier lesson, into a text file, those comments will actually appear in the text file as part of the actual parameters as well. So it's, you know, something specific to this particular file. History stands pretty much to reason. If you command Y, command Z, go back and forward in history. Image, okay, I don't know, I've been messing around here. What I want basically, I think I had this in 640 by 480. What I want to do is have this in square format, so 550 by 550. Okay, maintain width height in case I go changing stuff here. Leave resize with fractal window unchecked, or you're going to have a monster and it's not going to be square. Resolution 300 pixels, perfect, you know, for print. Works fine with on-screen resolution as well. Okay, layer's not going to do anything with other than just to show you we're working with the background layer only for the moment. Okay, so with that said, let's have a look. We're in standard fractal, default fractal mode. We'll have a look at the formula tab. Okay, formula. Okay, we're going to work with the Mandelbrot, but as I showed you before, by clicking on this icon up in the top right of the panel, you can open up the library, and in that we've got the UFM, which is the fractal formula, fractal types within ultrafractal. Okay, and here we are looking at, we have it actually highlighted here is Mandelbrot. Okay, we could just as easily work with Newton. Okay, click open. Again, okay, at the moment it looks kind of funky, but if I showed you something before, if I go to the outside coloring and change that to something like cube or cube root, okay, that'll smooth everything off very nicely. But this we'll look at later on. Linear, okay, I don't want to, as I said, I'm just messing around, just showing you, okay, this is how you access, I've showed you before, this is how you access different types of fractals. You can go inside them from there, play around with them. What I want to do is work with the standard Mandelbrot for the moment. Okay, what we are looking at here is the Mandelbrot fractal, the default fractal in ultrafractal. Okay, by experimentation, I hadn't got a clue what drawing method and periodicity checking or any of this was had to do with anything. But as I found, when you're actually coming to render the final image, when you've picked off a fractal, you're sort of zoomed in, you've got different things going on. These make a lot of difference, you know, as to whether different parts of the fractal, the coloring is consistent the whole way through, or whether it's bitty, it's like odd even or whatever. This has a huge kind of, it's just the way the actual the distribution of color, etc., hits the fractal. That's the best way I can explain it. I generally, as a rule, have this set to multipass linear and off. Don't ask me why, that's just what I go. In this case, for this illustration, okay, this is going to change. I just want to show you, okay, if we're looking at 250 resolutions, that's iterations, okay? But some fractals make a huge bit of difference, okay? See the way 5,000, it doesn't look huge there, it doesn't look like much of a difference. 250, doesn't look like much of a difference. Oh, at 50, okay, still not much, okay, 5, okay, the whole shape of the fractal, the more iterations, the more iterations it has, the more detail it has sort of in the edges. I'm going to go 250. Okay. What I want to demonstrate here is zoom. Okay. We're going to work zoom into what is known here as the Elephant's Valley in the Mandelbrot set. Okay. So drag, click to highlight a section. Okay. We can move it around the selection box and then double click to zoom in. Okay, so again, drag, click, double click. Okay, now what I want to do is just click and drag, or sorry, I beg your pardon, I think this, sorry, it's shift and drag, just shift and drag, shift drag left, zoom out, shift drag up and right will increase the magnification, and again. Okay, and if you have a look at this nice curly toe up here, again we're going to highlight, this time make the box a bit smaller, we're going to get in pretty tight on this area. Okay, now you're beginning to see something here. This took me months to figure out, and I'm showing you this on your first lesson. This is midget territory, mini brots, as some people refer to them. But these are midgets, okay? This nice little X, you'll find one smack in the middle of it. There you go. You're beginning to see it just very small there. Again, just zooming in. Okay, that's got kind of nice definition on it. Let's just up the iteration count again, as I said, to 5,000. When you get into really small ones, this makes all the difference. Sometimes that's not that well formed, okay? But that's a lot neater, a lot brighter. I've just sort of shown you basically how to get in tight, how to find basically a mini brot. Okay, we're going to go back here a bit. Let's go back to the beginning. Okay, we've gone into Elephant Valley. We've basically picked an area here and gone way in and found a mini. There's minis in the Serpent Valley up here as well. Sea snakes. Again, I think it's more evident here actually, the iteration count. Okay, I've got it back down to 250. Just by going back in history. I think it is more evident here. Okay, you're beginning to see this isn't nicely rounded. Okay, it's got too few iterations. If I pump this up to around 5,000, look at the difference that just made. Okay, that's gone from basically that to that, just by pumping up the iteration count. So the iteration count does come in with some fractals. Okay, it makes the world of difference. If you want to find the beauty of a mini brot or a midget, that's basically one weapon you have in your armory to just try to pull that shape out of the chaos, as it were. Okay, so that's the, if you like, the basic Mandelbrot tutorial carried out. Okay, for the next lesson, I want to demonstrate something within the actual Mandelbrot set. Basically, it's a switch which gives us what is known as the Julia set. Okay, what I want to do is open a second fractal window. Okay, I want to open Julia. Okay, just to give you an idea, this is the shape of a Julia fractal. Okay, so just keep it in mind for a sec. Okay, I'll go back here. In I've already got it open. Okay, if you hit F7, it brings up the fractal mode window here. Okay, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, bear in mind we're in the Mandelbrot. We're exploring the Mandelbrot. Okay, and there, as I said, we're getting that Julia shape I've just showed you. Okay, that's there's a Julia shape right there. Okay, but I think far more a much nicer, more classical Julia shape is this here. So if you go back to Elephant Valley, okay, just more or less move out. You know, move the mouse around a bit till you get something you like. Okay, up there. Okay, this is more classical Julia spiral shape, which you'd be accustomed to seeing. By clicking on it, it'll open a new Julia window. Okay, you can tweak these values. So we've gone from Mandelbrot to Julia by just hitting F7. Okay, I'm going to close this for a sec. Where was the fractal mode window? Has gone away on me. So window, tool windows, fractal mode. Okay, there's the switch mode. Okay, there's an explanation for it here. You can actually do it instead of F7. You can click this. Okay, it'll do the same job for you. F7 for me is much handier. I've used it since day one using this program. Okay, again, if you have a look at what we were just looking over here, I think you'll find that shape is pretty close to it on the side. We're looking at something over here. That's that shape, okay? And again over here we saw it. Okay, it's more of a classical Julia shape. That there's something pretty much what I want to go for. Okay, so it's opened up. Basically, we've turned the water into wine and the Mandelbrot into Julia by just F7, or by hitting that little button I just showed you. Again, if we go into formula now, we're now seeing Julia. Okay, we're not seeing Mandelbrot, we're seeing Julia. We can tweak this value, round it off to 0.35 and probably 0. Might be a little bit too little. Okay, what I want to show you here now, okay, if you want to make finer adjustments, if we click on this icon here, explore, okay, you're in a field, okay, you have an eyedropper in this, click on this kind of compass, okay, it'll bring up, if you like, a sub window, an explorer window. Okay, and by again using this explorer and the fractal mode, let's drag this off so we can see it. Okay, we can better define this the way we like it. Okay, much finer control. I can click there. Let's then change. Okay, I can click there. I can then go back in. I had to right click to get Explorer back there. It doesn't come up every time by just clicking in the Fractal automatically. I want to change the range now. Let's just change this value to something like 0.5. Okay, finer adjustment. 0.5. 0.5. Okay, finally. Okay, so you've got much finer control, finer adjustment. Get something like that. Okay, so we've defined a Julia. Okay, there's no need really to go nuts with iteration values here either, because it's not going to make any difference really in the Julia. Basic shape 250 is fine by me. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, we've got outside. We haven't really looked at the colorings yet. Okay, we've got a basic fractal. We want to give it a bit of oomph. Okay, let's have a look what we've got. I'm going to tell you the absolute truth here. I tend to just really go with something that looks kind of fun. Okay, there's something like Gaussian integer, completely different to what we just had. Okay, okay, we've just gone into truncated floor. I like the look of truncated. Actually, that's kind of nice as well. Color by minimum distance is something by and large I nearly always go with. Okay, that's also, look at that angle, that's kind of interesting. Purely experimental. Okay, drag across a section we like, expand it. Okay, and there we have, if you like, the makings of a base fractal. Just as I said, it's one layer. Okay, just exploring is what I'm doing, nothing more. Look at that factor. You know, we don't like the gradients. Okay, we go and change the gradient. Let's see what it looks like with the psych gradient we created in the earlier lesson. So we right click, open. We can go into course grad psychedelic. You know, how cool is that? Okay, we go back, Command Z. Okay, we can also right click in the fractal window, gradient, right click, gradient, replace, and it'll get us to the same place. Okay, so that's basically the Julia switch from the Mandelbrot set. Some fractals, you know, they have a Mandelbrot set will have a Julia switch, others won't.